often find yourself overwhelmed by intense emotions? Those powerful waves of anger, fear, or sadness that seem to take control of your mind and heart? In today's video, we'll dive deep into understanding how to face, accept, and eventually transform these difficult emotions through the timeless lens of Buddhist philosophy. By the end of this journey, you'll walk away with not just wisdom, but also a toolkit filled with practical, mindful strategies to help you turn emotional pain into profound personal growth. So, stay with us, because this exploration might just shift the way you view your emotional world. Negative emotions, no matter how unpleasant they feel, are not flaws. They're not signs of weakness, nor something to be ashamed of. In truth, they are an intrinsic part of being human. But sadly, society often teaches us otherwise. We're told to hide our sadness, suppress our anger, and smile through our pain. We're conditioned to believe that strength means the absence of emotional turbulence. But let's pause and reflect. What happens when we push these emotions away? Like trying to force a beach ball underwater, our efforts to suppress pain only make it surge back stronger, fiercer. The more we resist what we feel, the more suffering we create. Buddhism offers us a powerful truth. The root of suffering lies not in the emotions themselves, but in our resistance to them. The first noble truth reminds us that suffering is inevitable. It is part and parcel of the human experience. And the second noble truth reveals the origin of much of our suffering. Our clinging, our aversions, our constant struggle to hold on to pleasure and push away in short, our refusal to accept reality as it is. Think of your emotions as if they were weather patterns. Sometimes it's sunny, sometimes there are storms. But just like the weather, emotions are ever shifting, never permanent. They pass. And in realizing their impermanence, we begin to loosen our grip on fear. Acceptance, in this context, becomes a radical act of self-love. It doesn't mean that we enjoy feeling angry or depressed. It simply means we grant our emotions permission to be here, without judging or trying to change them right away. Imagine yourself sitting quietly beside a flowing river. Leaves float by on the water's surface, each leaf representing an emotion. Instead of reaching out to grasp them, you sit and observe. You watch them come and go. That, right there, is the essence of acceptance. In Buddhism, this approach is deeply connected to mindfulness and equanimity, the art of holding a calm and balanced mind, even when life throws chaos your way. When we create space for our emotions instead of fighting them, something incredible happens. We start to understand them. Anger may uncover boundaries that have been violated. Sadness may point to places in our hearts still aching for healing. Fear might be highlighting the areas where we most need courage. And that is how acceptance becomes the gateway to transformation. It's the first step in turning suffering into understanding. Now, once you've taken that brave step of accepting your emotional landscape, the question arises, how do we move forward? How do we navigate through these feelings without becoming consumed by them? Here are some practical tools inspired by Buddhist teachings that can support you on this inner journey. 1. Mindfulness. Start by pausing. Take a deep breath and simply notice what you're feeling, without trying to label it as good or bad. Tune into your body. Where do you feel tension? Is your heart racing? Is there tightness in your chest or throat? Now gently name what you feel. This is anger. This is fear. This is grief. By naming your emotions, you gain distance. This space allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. 2. Journaling. Writing is a powerful practice of reflection. When you journal, you give form to the formless. Let your thoughts and emotions pour onto the page, without censoring. Over time, patterns begin to emerge. You start seeing the triggers, the hidden beliefs, the stories you've been telling yourself. This clarity is the foundation of self-awareness. And as Buddhism teaches, to know oneself is to begin the path to liberation. 3. Self-care. Contrary to popular belief, self-care is not indulgence. It is necessity. Whether it's taking a quiet walk in nature, sitting under a tree, practicing yoga, sipping tea in stillness, or listening to calming music, these moments of peace nourish your soul. Taking care of yourself during emotional lows is not avoidance. It's preparation. It builds your inner reservoir of strength. 4. Meditation. Certain meditative practices like loving-kindness meditation, metta, are especially powerful. As you close your eyes and silently offer phrases like, "May I be happy," "May I be safe," "May I be free from suffering," you're not just saying words. You're rewriting your inner dialogue. Gradually, this kindness spills over from you to others, replacing isolation with interconnectedness. Negative emotions no longer feel like prisons. They become teachers. Think of the lotus flower, a sacred Buddhist symbol. It doesn't bloom in clear water. It rises from the murkiest, muddiest depths. And yet, its beauty is untouched by the dirt it grows in. Just like the lotus, we too can blossom through our darkest experiences. Anger teaches us where our boundaries lie. Fear invites us to find courage. Sadness deepens our compassion. When we begin to reframe our struggles as stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks, we unlock hidden wisdom within. A professional setback might redirect you toward a more meaningful career path. A heartbreak might lead you to rediscover self-worth. Every experience, no matter how painful, holds within it a seed of awakening. As the Buddha so profoundly taught, each time you sit with a negative emotion, rather than run from it, you're building resilience. This emotional strength becomes your anchor in turbulent times. But let's be honest, the journey isn't always smooth. There will be days when you feel like you've taken 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And that's okay. Progress in emotional healing isn't linear. It's a dance of learning, stumbling, and rising again. Celebrate the small victories. Each time you pause instead of snapping in anger, each moment you comfort yourself instead of judging, you're creating transformation. And remember, you're not alone. All of us share these struggles. Every person you meet is carrying unseen emotional battles. And by doing your inner work, by embracing your shadows with tenderness, you become part of a greater collective journey. A journey towards self-discovery, compassion, and ultimately, enlightenment. Let's hold space for each other as we continue walking together on this deeply human and profoundly spiritual path. path toward healing and inner peace.